Hello, and thank you for taking time to join me today. My name is Megan, and I work on the training and support team at Hawks Learning. During our quick 15 minutes today, we're going to go over some options that you have under the display options setting that will allow you to further customize and streamline your course. We'll go over things such as adding a custom tab, as well as changing your gradebook from percents to points based. If you have questions, feel free to enter them in the Q&A in our meeting. To access the display options from your instructor gradebook, we'll navigate to Tools and select this display options. If this is your first time looking at the display options feature, you'll notice a couple of things. First, there's an extensive list of choices here. I'm not going to cover all of these during our time today, but if you have a question about a setting that you see listed and I don't address it, I encourage you to reach out to your training and support representative directly. I'm going to start down below, focusing first on settings that apply to your instructor gradebook. The first one that I would like to bring to your attention allows you to choose which section to display first when you're viewing the report. This is a great way to ensure that you're viewing a current session when opening the report, and especially helpful if you're only teaching one section of your course during that semester. You can also adjust your detailed student grade report and how that displays for you. You can choose between a search view or a classic view. In search view, you'll have a search bar that allows you to type in a student name, and it will search from all of your students and all of your sections. In classic view, you'll be presented with a drop down to select a specific section, and then a second drop down that is populated with only students in that section, and you can choose an individual student from that drop down. Lastly, when viewing lesson completion dates on this detailed student grade report, you can choose to display lessons organized by either the initial certification or the most recent certification. Now, I do want to shift our focus to settings that are going to impact your students' experience. The first one that I will point out that impacts the student to-do list is determining if assignments are listed in order of their assignment groups or in order of the due date. Again, these are all preferences based on what you want for both yourself in the instructor gradebook, as well as what you want for your students on their student platform. Down below that, you can also control student-initiated transferring between sections of the same Hawks title. It's important to note that of these three options, no matter which one you choose, you still have the ability to transfer a student that is currently enrolled in one of your sections into another section by going to Tools and Manage Students. This just controls those student-initiated transfers. So if a student tries to go from one section to another section of the same course. We'll continue moving down the page and next focus on messaging. This feature that I'm going to point out is especially helpful while so many of us are still virtual. We've heard that it is much more challenging now to understand where your students need assistance and getting that communication from them. With that said, you can enable the Send to Instructor tool in practice mode. What this does is it allows students to click a button on a problem and it will take a screenshot of that problem. It will then pop up in a messaging window and students can add an additional message, maybe explaining where they're having trouble, posing some questions for you, and send that directly to you in the Hawks messaging system. You then are able to reply either directly in Hawks or via email. Below that, you also have the option to add a custom tab to the student to-do list. Again, another really great resource for you to have to further customize your course in Hawks while many of us are still virtual. We've seen this used to link students to a variety of things, including our Hawks student training video, our statistics website for any stats classes, or another website that you frequently utilize in your course and you want students to have easy access to. We're going to end our time together focusing on options that you see in this table on the top of the page. Mainly, I'm going to focus in on how grades, lessons, and reports are displayed for you and your students. As you can see, there are a good number of choices here, so I'll focus in on a few key ones. The first ones that I'll point out are going to be two changes that you can make. One is going to impact what students see related to their lessons, and one that impacts your view of assignment reviewer. Under lessons, you'll see this fourth option to hide lesson prefix. So if you don't want students to see the lesson number attached to the lesson name, you can hide that lesson number from the student's view and it will display just that lesson name. We know that many instructors like to utilize assignment reviewer. So for your view as an instructor, you can determine if the correct answers when viewing an individual student in assignment reviewer are hidden or displayed. Again, it all depends on how you want to view the assignment and if it's more beneficial that you have access to quickly view all of the correct answers as well as incorrect, or if it's easier for you to just focus in on those incorrects. Lastly, we are going to focus on changes that you can make if you are looking to change to a points-based gradebook. Below the table, you do need to make a change here, and when editing assignment scores, you'll want to enter them as points instead of percentages. Back up on the table, there are a few changes that you'll need to make here. If you would like to change to points-based, you should select the checkbox for display points earned, as well as display points possible, and uncheck the display grade for each assignment. As I mentioned, there are a lot of options here, so I encourage you to explore and see if any changes that can be made on this page will further streamline and customize your course. That is all that I have for you today. If anyone has any questions at this time, I encourage you to enter them into the Q&A box at the bottom of our meeting. If there aren't any questions right now, again, as they come up, please reach out to our training and support team, and we are more than happy to help answer any questions or make adjustments as needed. Thank you again for taking time during a busy start of the semester to join me for a quick tutorial on the display options. I hope you have a wonderful spring term, and we look forward to connecting with you soon. Thank you.